Welcome back everyone, it's Charlie. This will be my new Scarlet Witch video, Elizabeth Olsen, talking about the return of the character to the MCU. We all believe that she was still alive, so I'll explain what's going on. There's a bunch of Easter eggs here, and they do have a bunch of plans for her in future MCU movies and Disney Plus series. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. There's a bunch of really big stuff coming up, and a couple really big WandaVision spin-offs. Of all the Disney Plus shows so far, it's the only one that has 2 spin-offs already. You may have seen the clip of Elizabeth Olsen talking about coming back as Scarlet Witch. This is her at a convention explaining what's going on.
What future storyline for Wanda do you want?
Well, honestly, if I were to tell you exactly what I would want, I think I would maybe be spoiling something because Kevin Feige genuinely asks us what we want to do with the character, and then he does it. So I think I don't know if I can share, but I just want to come back.
The funny thing about that clip is she's trying not to give away spoilers, and the way that she says it, if I were to say anything, they would be spoilers, is just the fact that Kevin Feige listens to the actors and will do pretty much whatever they want to do within certain limits. Elizabeth Olsen in the past has talked about how she wants redemption for Scarlet Witch. That's what she'll be focused on when she comes back, with a bunch of other stuff happening too at the same time. They always had the plan for her to turn evil during Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, but they changed the way that they did that a couple different times. In some versions of the movie, she waited till later in the film before she was revealed as a villain. So if it felt like something was missing between WandaVision and Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness that explained why she'd gone so evil, that's mostly a result of all the reshoots during Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. They just kind of yada-yada-yada'd over a lot of stuff during that movie. But at the end of that film, she destroys the Darkhold Temple, which is meant to be the only one in the entire multiverse. Like, there were many copies of the Darkhold that had spread across the multiverse in different universes, but only one Darkhold Temple. All the books had been copied from the writings inside that one temple. The way they explained it in the movie is that when she destroyed the temple, it automatically destroyed all the other copies of the book. When she brings down the top of Wundagore Mountain, you see this flash of Hex energy, and that's it. Essentially what happened during that is her own powers protected her the same way that she used her powers to create the Hex in WandaVision without really understanding how she did it. Like, her grief manifested physically, and it was so powerful that the Hex is what came out. So they already established the idea that her body can automatically use her powers without her brain really thinking about it actively. The other funny example here too is that if you're a big Avatar: The Last Airbender fan, if you remember the boy in the ice, Aang, got stuck in the ice for over 100 years, that's because when he fell into the water 100 plus years ago, his body automatically went into the Avatar state and protected him in that bubble for 100 plus years. Like, he was in the Avatar state for over 100 years. So you have to imagine Scarlet Witch stuck in the Avatar state in this protective bubble for a couple years until they bring her back. She won't be stuck in there for over 100 years like Aang was. Right now, Marvel does plan to bring the character back during Avengers Kang Dynasty, but also she's supposed to have a cameo during the Agatha Coven of Chaos series. I don't know if that's going to be a flashback though. She will be back in present day like regular Scarlet Witch back by Avengers Kang Dynasty. That's only a couple years away. Now, there are the other WandaVision spin-offs, like I just mentioned Agatha Coven of Chaos. The Vision Quest TV series is also meant to be a WandaVision spin-off with a White Vision character. She might have some kind of cameo during that, but it could also be a flashback or just a hallucination of someone. It could just be White Vision remembering her. One of the reasons why she's so important to Agatha Coven of Chaos, though, is because her power, her spell, literally trapped Agatha in the spell inside Westview. The minute that Scarlet Witch went unconscious during this moment here, like she's not absolutely conscious while this is happening, that's when her spell in Westview went down and Agatha was freed. A lot of the characters from WandaVision are coming back during Agatha Coven of Chaos. They're introducing a couple more ones too. But during the series, Scarlet Witch is a big character on the tip of everyone's tongues. Everybody's talking about what happened to her, what happened with her during Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. They're also supposed to bring back an adult version, a resurrected version of her son, Billy Kaplan, who's played by Joe Locke. Now, that's a bit of a rumor. It could be another character, but it does seem like he's playing the older version of Billy. During the series, Agatha is trying to protect him and his power from this other coven of witches, played by Aubrey Plaza. Right now, the report is that she's playing a version of Morgan Le Fay, who's just one of the more evil magic users inside the MCU. Because we know they're doing a version of Young Avengers, they started to tease that during Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania with Cassie Lang's character, and there were some deleted scenes that I talked about where they more literally tried to set up Young Avengers. Of course, they plan on using adult versions of Billy and Tommy during that, like they did during the comics. But we don't know where adult Tommy is going to appear during the MCU next. He might have a cameo during Agatha Coven of Chaos, he might cameo during the Vision Quest series. They haven't said absolutely when the Young Avengers team will come together formally for the first time. There's still a couple of characters they haven't introduced yet, but most of the Young Avengers characters you've seen in Marvel Phase 4 series. The Vision Quest series is supposed to be tied more directly to Young Avengers. But the really cool thing a lot of people have been asking about, because one of the big things about Scarlet Witch's history is her connection to the mutants in X-Men characters, the X-Men comics. Elizabeth Olsen has talked about this, the Marvel people have talked about this. They would love long-term to have her cross over with the new version of the X-Men, be in those new solo movies in whatever the Disney Plus series they have based on X-Men characters after Secret Wars. Right now, it just seems like Marvel is waiting to release that X-Men solo movie till after Secret Wars, and that'll be the beginning of a huge X-Men-focused saga. Like we have the multiverse saga right now. You're seeing a few X-Men characters, like Hugh Jackman's characters coming back in Deadpool 3. We've seen Professor X cameos with Patrick Stewart. There'll be some more of that during Secret Wars, maybe even before that. There's supposed to be a bunch of Fox Marvel characters cameoing in Deadpool 3 because they're kind of doing a version of Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. So it's just the opportunity for a bunch of different cameos from different quote-unquote universes. But that's all meant to set up Secret Wars, where they have a bunch of legacy characters come back and they do some multiverse Avengers action. Then I think after they use that as a big swan song for a lot of these legacy X-Men characters, then they're going to do way more core MCU rebooted versions of the characters with new actors. And that's when we'll start seeing Scarlet Witch cross over with more X-Men movies. If you don't remember, Marvel's actually doing new seasons of X-Men the Animated Series. The first season of that will premiere later this year. Of course, I'll do episode videos for that, but Scarlet Witch is actually canon to that series. She actually showed up during X-Men the Animated Series, obviously not played by Elizabeth Olsen.
Where I would have come for you if I had known you were alive.
We'll never know, will we?
But still, it's another good example of Scarlet Witch's tie to the X-Men stories. One of the reasons why they were able to use her in Avengers Age of Ultron with Quicksilver is just because little loopholes, because they both shown up in Avengers comics and X-Men comics. So there was like a weird rights issue where both Fox and Marvel were able to use the characters for a little while. Obviously, that's all moot now. Marvel got the rights to all the characters back. There's reports about there being some weird contractual issues preventing them from recasting some of the major X-Men characters, and that's the reason why they're waiting till after Secret Wars. So there might be some practical things behind the scenes going on with all the new versions of the X-Men, but either way, long term, we will see new versions of the characters. We will see Scarlet Witch cross over with them and have some cool stories. What I'm really hoping is that once we get to Secret Wars and we see like some real full-blown crossover with Fox X-Men characters and MCU characters, we see Scarlet Witch with the different versions of Magneto, like Michael Fassbender Magneto and also Ian McKellen Magneto, where she starts talking about her parentage.
Oh. I'm gonna go with Sir Ian McKellen.
And for those of you asking about Quicksilver coming back in Secret Wars or a crossover movie like that, Aaron Taylor Johnson is now in the Sony Marvel movies playing a version of Kraven for Sinister Six spin-offs in the future. He looks super swole right now, so there's always the chance that he comes back, but I think that he's mostly focused on what's going on in the Sony Marvel movies with all the Spider-Man spin-offs right now.
Oh, it's okay. Hey, give that another try. That was just a bit too close to the kneecap.
So if we get a version of Quicksilver coming back, I think it'll probably be the Evan Peters version of Quicksilver and not the Ralph Bohner version of Quicksilver, like the actual Fox Marvel version of Quicksilver. What will probably happen though is we see more Agatha Coven of Chaos footage and they start releasing teasers for that. We'll get more Easter eggs for Scarlet Witch coming back. There's a lot of other stuff going on in there. They're supposedly incorporating more aspects of actual Mephisto in the MCU. There have been some Easter eggs in the past, and reportedly Sacha Baron Cohen is actually playing a version of the character in a couple different upcoming Disney Plus series. But I'm really hoping, long term, she's going to have some crossovers with Doctor Doom as well. Like Doctor Strange Doctor Doom crossovers and Scarlet Witch Doctor Doom crossovers, just because there's so many new magic-based characters coming into the MCU, and Doctor Doom works well in pretty much all those different stories. There are also some really cool Doctor Doom Scarlet Witch-based comic book stories too. But have no fear, a long time ago, Kevin Feige said that Scarlet Witch was just really critical to the future of the MCU, so they always had plans for her to be a big character going forward. That's one of the reasons why she's joking about revealing things about the future, revealing spoilers. Oh, if I said anything, it would be a spoiler, because they're definitely planning on bringing me back. Big reminder that The Mandalorian Season 3 starts releasing episodes next week. Of course, I'll do videos for all those episodes. Everyone click here for that Agatha Coven of Chaos first look video for them filming footage, and click here for that opening scene from The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 1. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.